Today, friends, we are going to talk about development. Growth and development, that is. So about a year ago, I was on this interview panel, and it was about 10 candidates. And looking across the resumes, man, they were very strong, extremely strong. I was wondering to myself, as a person on the panel, I was like, man, how are they going to select the right person for this job? Oh, it's so tight. Oh, hard decision. So as we go through the interview process, there's this one question that starts to kind of trick people up as they answer it. They say, what have you done to develop yourself professionally, and how do you implement that in your current work, right? And the candidates that were able to speak to that question, they start to kind of separate themselves. But not only in that way, but it seemed to me as an observer that it was like they had a different level of content knowledge, or knowledge about, the work required for the gig. And finally, this one candidate comes in. She's the last person, and she smashed it because it was about two or three people that were kind of like, oh, it's probably gonna come down to these three. But this lady, she comes in and she kills the interview. Presence, charisma, content knowledge, she had all of it. And she literally, just looking at the resume, you wouldn't think that she necessarily, she didn't have all the other stuff that some of the other people had, but she was able to speak to that work. She knew it. And she comes in, it's upset. And she just take it. She took something. She was the person selected for the gig. So we're talking after we make our choice, and I'm like, dang, man, she killed it. How did she? I was like, ooh, she came through. And some of the people on the panel, they say, oh yeah, she attends every single professional development that is offered. As educators, often, we're teachers. We are experts normally in our specific areas, right? But it is imperative that in addition to, learning things that we need to learn, being experts, that we continue to grow and build and develop ourselves as professionals and really hone our craft. So I'd like to share with you guys 3 things to consider when you think about development. Number 1, we don't know everything. I was reading this book, The First Day of School, and one of the things they highlight in the book is that it's important, just as much as we're teachers, we have to be learners too. Because oftentimes as educators, we are considered to be the experts. And it can feel very scary to acknowledge that, hey, I don't freaking know. And when we assume that we know everything, we can't grow anyway. Because if I know everything, why am I going to listen to you give me this little session or coach me on anything? Because I already know. And nobody knows everything. I certainly don't. The beautiful thing about not knowing means that you can actually learn something new and do something about it. But we first have to acknowledge that we don't know something. Number 2, growth is not a linear process. It's actually pretty messy. So if we're thinking that we're going to learn something and tomorrow we are going to be freaking great at it, growth doesn't necessarily work like that. I've been in relationship school, and this was a key piece that changed the game for me in terms of accepting myself more and making certain changes in some of my behaviors. I remember before I left, I had this meltdown. I was like, oh my gosh, what if I go back to the old way of doing things? I'm freaking out, right? But this is what they told me, and it really changed my mind. They said growth is a messy process. When you are learning something new, some days, you'll start out, you'll be really motivated, you'll mess it up, then you'll be stagnant, then you go back up, you try it again. That's how growth works. So when we're learning new things, sometimes as teachers and educators, we'll say, oh, I should already know this. I should be further along. You taught me this. I should be an expert already. It's not like that. It is a process. You'll be great at it. Then you may go down. You may be it doesn't matter. It is a process. It is not linear. It's messy. Number 3, this one is huge. Be prepared for the level up and the separation. Well, what is the separation, Fitz? Let me tell you a quick story. I was in 8th grade. I tried out for this AAU team, and I didn't make it. I got cut. I was disappointed. I was crying to my mom. I should have made the team. But the truth be told, I wasn't ready yet. They were here, and here I was. I wasn't ready yet for that level yet. So I started working. I keep working. keep working. Now it is my senior year, and I'm one of the top 15 players in the city, and at the end of the season I earned a Division I scholarship. Well, what happened? What happened to that team that I got cut from? Now I saw these same people from 9th to 12th grade. Saw these same people playing against them, all of that, right? And after it was all said and done, my senior year, it was, I think, one of them in the top 15. And I don't think any of them earned a Division I scholarship. Now, it's not a knock on them, but what I'm saying is, by working, I not only got up to that level, but I surpassed them too. And just like in that interview, the reason that she went in there and she took that thing, when maybe if you looked on paper, you were like, well, I don't know, I'm not sure. But the reason she was able to get that opportunity was because she had committed to developing herself. So not only was she here, but she separated herself. Clearly, it was like, oh, she's definitely the one. She created that separation between everyone else. From the pack, one of the things you want to know, when you commit to your growth and development, you're going to separate yourself too, and you're going to level up. You are going to level up. There was a study done that said teachers and educators who commit to developing themselves, they make 35% more income than everybody else. Because they go up the ladder very quickly because they are committed to growing themselves. So get out there and do those push-ups, baby. Those growth push-ups. In closing, I'll say this. Number one, we don't know everything. Owning knowledge, hey, you don't know it all. Just start there. Secondly, growth is not a linear process. Mathletes, I see you. It's not like that, right? You go up sometimes, you go down, you get stagnant. It's all good, but it's just part of growing. And then lastly, be prepared for when you commit to growing yourself, you are going to separate yourself. Just like in that interview, she came through and she just is like, upset, March Madness, baby, give me that. I'm going to take it because this is my job to have. So be prepared for the level up and the separation. You're going to start to separate yourself from the pack, from everybody else. So get out there this week and do those growth and development push-ups because you are a superstar. And I'm out.